Oh, I have an idea. Can we just talk about Conor McGregor's weird performance in Roadhouse instead? Because that was insane.
Yeah.
Because look, I mean, do we start with They Who Shall Not Be Named, or do you want me to get my thoughts on the ONKYO out of the way first? Because honestly, nothing really makes sense anymore.
Dealer's choice. You're in the driver's seat. This is your moment. So.
Oh, shoot. All right. Well, listen, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of Unplugged, where I'm positive we'll be having a very productive conversation by the end of all this. That was sarcasm. Anyway, if you missed our review of the new ONKYO 3100 receiver on Sunday, make sure you do go check that out. Look, I really like this receiver.
It's fun.
And I love its price point.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're new here, you should know that I am a fan of ONKYO sound. And to me, the 3100 sounds very similar to the other ONKYO receivers that we've had. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say the 3100 tracks with ONKYO's more budget stuff like the 5100. I won't go so far as to say it rises to the RZ50 or 7100, definitely not the RZ70.
I was just specifically speaking about the overall tone of
Yes.
ONKYO sound.
Yes.
And if you have heard an ONKYO receiver or product in your travels, and you're on a very small budget, or you just want something, you want to get into the game or of home theater, or you're
First
downsizing.
system.
I don't know.
Any number of.
Yeah, my point before you took over, Robinson, was that I think that you'll enjoy the sound because it is reminiscent of others. And honestly, all it really took was watching Free Guy with the ONKYO and the Yamo speakers. That was an awesome experience.
Yeah.
I just think those are a really excellent pairing.
Yeah.
And you can kind of get all in with, what was it, about $1,500 or so?
Yeah, just under $1,500 if you put together the system that we outlined in both the Yamo and ONKYO review.
So I know my viewers are going to be very interested to hear my thoughts about Dialogue and the ONKYO TX SR3100. So in my opinion, going back again to the more expensive ONKYO receivers like the RZ50, those are going to be a lot better when it comes to fine-tuning dialogue and improving, the overall intelligibility.
Yes.
So my suggestion, if this is a common concern for you, if you can wait until your budget grows, I think you're going to be happier long-term with the upmarket ONKYOs, like the RZ50, which, by the way, you can find the RZ50 for about $1,000 on sale right now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you're just know that it's still an excellent receiver. You're going to get more channels and more features, which will obviously give you a lot more longevity. But listen, I get it if that's not in the cards for you, because $1,000 is still a lot of money. Yeah. Look, the 3100 will work. I just would make sure that you don't push the 3100's dialogue enhancements too much. Speaking of other ONKYOs, I have a ONKYO 5100 update. You had mentioned the 5100 just a second ago, as well as in the review, as a comparison, as an alternative.
Yeah.
And I finally heard back from ONKYO's rep, and they confirmed that there has been a running change to the 5100. Those push pin binding posts that really got under your skin.
They should have never been on there.
Yeah, like why? Anyway, they're gone now, and they have been replaced. Let me know when you're done.
Yeah,
they've been replaced with, I quote, proper binding posts.
Round of applause for ONKYO for recognizing that they should have done that in the first place.
I just think that's hilarious that someone actually wrote, they've been replaced with proper binding posts.
Yeah.
Anyway, this receiver is actually also on sale.
The 5100.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going for $395.
Whoa.
Which makes it, in my opinion, probably even a better option than the 3100.
On sale, yeah.
All right, so we can take this episode of Unplugged one of two ways right now. I can either, yeah, we can either just get right to the
elephant in the room.
or I can continue the happy train with a few questions about the ONKYO. You tell me.
Let's stick with the ONKYO for now. Let's stick with the ONKYO for now.
Yeah. We don't want to. We want you to still watch.
Well, I mean, the ONKYO is a good piece, so I want to talk about it.
At Shazim Khan.
Okay.
Who is I'm pretty sure this person's a regular.
Yeah, I recognize the screen name.
Says thanks for this, guys. Nice to see some budget gear reviewed. I just got two questions. Number one, can the Zone 2 outs be used as pre-outs?
Okay.
And number two, does the HDMI board get very hot? I have read many times that ONKYO AVRs have had some HDMI issues.
Okay. In my experience, and as I understand it, a lot of these HDMI woes, as they relate to ONKYO, stem from products that were released 10 to 15 years ago. And that may still have been in circulation and sold as recently as maybe 5 years ago, but we are talking about generations old products. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm forgiving or excusing ONKYO if those products were bad, if they had known issues. That was a problem. But I've also heard reports that if people have called ONKYO tech support, like they have been very good about addressing those issues. That said, ONKYO is under new stewardship now. They are part of the, call it, larger Klipsch family of brands. There's all new teams behind them for the most part. I still think manufacturing is largely done in the same places, but the people that are running ONKYO now are not necessarily the same people that were running it 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, okay? And so in my experience under this new guard, we have not, I repeat, we have not had any issues with the HDMI apart from the issue that I raised in the 3100, which they issued a firmware update for, and we can confirm that firmware update did fix the units. As for heat, yes, the ONKYO gets warm. It does not get hot. We're not talking Marantz level, like, hot plate. So I don't think it's a concern. I mean, with anything, you want to allow for proper ventilation, but you're good. The first question was, oh darn it.
Can the Zone 2 outs be used as pre-outs?
The Zone 2 can go to an integrated input, but if you're like, ooh, I want to power my front, left, and right mains while using the center and surround leads from the ONKYO receiver, that's not possible.
Okay. Is that something you can do with like the RZ50?
Well, the RZ50 has full preamp outs for all of its channels, as well as zone outs. So you're not going to run into this sort of, what the person is basically wondering is if there's kind of like a little backdoor hack that would let him run a separate amplifier in his main system for home theater, and that you can't do with the 3100. But you could totally do it with the RZ50 at $1,000-ish.
Okay. At Post JM9
Okay.
asks, anyone know why I still get digital filtering options on my ONKYO AVR when using an analog input, and they do change the sound?
So if I'm understanding this question correctly, and if I'm not, I apologize in advance. You're on an analog input. Let's say you're on the CD input, so you're using RCA connections. Keep in mind, I have no idea what ONKYO you're referring to. You could have an ONKYO that is totally different than the new ones, but whatever. And you're still seeing that you have the options to do like sound modes, sound profiles, which obviously would alter the sound. I guess the easiest way to get around those would be to put your ONKYO into pure direct mode. To the best of my knowledge, they've had the pure direct option for years, so I would use that.
Okay. Are you ready? I don't even know how to start it, but
Let's rip the Band-Aid off.
The predominant concern, we'll call it,
Okay.
was essentially, why are you comparing the WiiM to anything? At BA9 Atman says, weird video, comparing an ONKYO receiver to a WiiM amp. WTF. At UOut Bueller 5217.
Oh, yeah.
I'm only going to read a portion.
Okay.
The WiiM is a streamer that has amplification as a bonus feature.
Okay.
At 318-ish shonk, at 38. Boy, your names, guys. At 318-IS honk.
Okay.
Nah.
Another
Hello, nah. Apples and oranges. ONKYO is not a Tidal / Spotify / Chromecast / AirPlay streamer. And then lastly, at Adrian W 1966,
Okay.
maybe you should have a more open mind and understand that different people want different solutions for listening to music. And before you get into your bits,
Okay.
I want, meet me at camera 2, Adrian. Have an open mind. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a fair question or a fair comment.
Sure.
Sure. But I would like you to remember, or maybe you're new and you're just unfamiliar.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that to a channel who has advocated for different solutions for years.
Yeah.
We have been calling for features. We've been calling for features like HDMI for I don't know how long.
3
Andrew
years.
has been just beating that dead horse. We've advocated for powered speakers as a solution.
Yep.
We talk about sound bars on this channel, which I know not everybody likes,
Yep.
but we do. We have talked about using 2-channel for home theater, or that you can do both. I kind of feel that there's some people have sort of lost the thread. As far as comparisons go, we've always done comparisons.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
one of the most common questions we see in the comments is, how does X compare to Y?
Correct.
So I'm just really struggling to understand this one, the WiiM amp, and why is it off limits? Because we know that viewers love it when Goliath gets caught with its pants down by a less expensive option.
Correct.
And let's be honest with ourselves. This channel has been pushing for convenience, style, and affordability forever.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you, why would we not talk about the WiiM amp?
The thing you have to understand about the WiiM is this. A, I do not hate the WiiM. Let's just make one thing very clear. I do not hate the WiiM. In our video, I said, paraphrasing, I don't have my script in front of me, but in that video I said, paraphrasing, that for some people in the right environments, I understand how this product can be a godsend. I just do not believe that it is the end-all be-all that some people are saying it is, or worse, that they are leading people to believe. As for the critiques and comments about you can't compare this because this is that and this is that, the comparisons I make with WiiM stem directly, and I mean this, and I'll throw it up on the screen, stem directly from WiiM themselves. Another common question that I've gotten, not only on our WiiM amp review, but this review and other things, is that everyone knows that the WiiM amp should be used in small, tiny spaces or on a desktop with only a certain kind of cheap speaker. This is where I am at odds with the viewers, and this is where I'm also at odds with WiiM, and I believe the viewers are at odds with WiiM, even though they may not want to admit it. WiiM themselves, on the product page, do not show the WiiM amp as being a desktop solution. In fact, the very first headline, first or second headline on the WiiM product page homepage is something to the effect of home theater magic unlocked or delivered. And the headline just below that is superior sound quality. And then when you go to the specs and you see 120 watts or whatever it is, okay, and you see all of that, and you see WiiM's own stuff, it leads one to think that this is a solution that maybe past WiiM designs, or in this case, past HIFI designs, have been more for desktop use. Because let's face it, I've seen Fosse ads, I've seen SMSL ads, and they are on desktops. But the WiiM amp is very clearly photographed, talked about, and shown by the manufacturer as being a living room home theater solution. And all I'm doing is taking the brand at their word. I really feel like some of these products have risen to a level of cult of personality. And I feel that when a product or a brand or anything reaches that status, it becomes very, very difficult to have any sort of rational conversation.
Again, on their website right now, it says, elevate your entertainment experience effortlessly with the WiiM Amp's HDMI ARC port. Plug in your TV and immerse yourself in rich stereo sound for shows, movies, and video games. Craving that extra oomph? Simply add a powered subwoofer to take your audio to cinematic levels.
Yeah.
With minimal setup required, the WiiM amp offers a seamlessly integrated AV system that turns your living room into a home theater paradise.
And by that logic, I am going to compare it to similarly spec'd and priced AVRs, because that is its competition in some way. Now, you guys cannot like that. That's fine. But some people have called into question our credibility, going so far as to tiptoe on the line of slander over this WiiM amp. That's where I have to draw the line. I have to. Because just because you may not like certain realities and certain facts, the facts are WiiM is marketing this product as a living room solution. Fact. Fact. They are marketing it as a home theater option. Fact. Fact. They say it produces a certain level of power, when fact, it does not. Some of you have made it a point to say, well, you got a bad unit. Fair. But we asked WiiM about that. We did. And guess what? They know bad units exist. They're aware. They know the actual product run that were bad. And while if you find out that you have a bad one and you put in a support ticket, they will take care of you, we have asked WiiM to do what Denon and Marantz did. And that is, if you know you have a faulty grouping of products that came out and just weren't QC'd properly or whatever, I'm going to give WiiM the benefit of the doubt and say it was an accident. I'm not accusing them, but they know which ones are affected. They should, at a minimum, in my opinion, have on the WiiM homepage customer notice, like a little banner or a little button or icon. Click here. If your WiiM falls within this number, click here, email us. We're going to make it right.
Let's just be real. We all know how things went for Denon or Yamaha or anybody else that came out with an HDMI board that was
Unproven.
frankly faulty, and how much, backlash the customer base would give a product a company like that.
Yeah.
You will come. It's not that you're as against coming for somebody or a brand, but there is something very strange that this particular product or just the chip amp products in general, HIFI, whatever you want to call it, do seem to get a pass. And that leads me to believe one thing is only possible, that it's all about the price.
Yeah, it's about the price, and it's about the hype. I want to go back and clarify one thing. WiiM did send us a second amplifier. We have it. We will not be doing another WiiM review. Okay,
Not of the amp, at least.
Not of the amp. There will not be a part 2, but we have it. It fails in exactly the same way as the one in our initial review. Going back to the price thing, I have an issue with this. I do, because the ONKYO 3100 more or less is the same price as a WiiM amp. And if I had gone on the channel because it deserved it, and this is a hypothetical. Anyone watching or listening, understand the ONKYO didn't do this. Hypothetically, had it failed, had it gone into protect, had it shut down, had it failed to boot back up after shutting down due to volume or speakers attached. And I went on YouTube and I said, hey guys, I can't recommend the 3100 for people that are going to push it above, say, 60 dB because it appears it can't handle it. The comments would be flooded with ONKYO's crap, this is garbage, everyone knows. And I'm willing to bet money, I mean, turn a phrase, that there would be people like, this is why you should just get a WiiM. This is why you should just get a WiiM. No one would stand up for ONKYO at all. And honestly, I don't think anyone would even comment that we have a bad unit. Because people don't come to the defense of brands that have been around for ages for some reason. Not like they are these upstart hi-fi brands. You don't have to just take our word or my word for it. Like there are other outlets that are like, hey, I'm not saying these are bad products. I'm just saying pump the brakes on the whole, redefining everything talk, or 4 times better than anything talk. And for those of you who commented to me, no one's saying that, seriously, one of you guys I answered, and I Googled just WiiM amp, and literally within 2 pages of results on Google in the video section, there were like half a dozen headlines.
Blows everything away 4 times better than...
And it's just like, I'm not making this stuff. I don't got the time, honestly. I don't got the time to make this stuff up. The other comment that I know we always get whenever we're talking about these particular products, and it's really the only comment we get, and that is that we're like elitist, or we just don't like, quote, cheap audio. I think at the top of this video, or close to the top, Kristi said nothing could be further from the truth. And I just want to make that clear. Like, to levy the argument that we're against cheap audio on a video about a product that costs the same as the WiiM amp, that one made me laugh out loud.
We try to keep things in perspective, and we only ask that you do as well.
Yeah.
But I understand it's just not always possible, because you become, like we do, very passionate about things that you enjoy and you like. And listen, at the end of the day, if you are a user of the WiiM amp and it's working for you,
that's great.
I am excited to see where companies like WiiM can take this industry going forward. At Grant Worgley 1886. Grant says a lot of things, but I'm going to just cut to this one part.
Okay.
No one my age early 30s, cares about receivers, speakers, etc., and I would love for that to change. So basically, the WiiM is a good option for them.
Yeah.
At Ashley Higgins, yeah, but the ONKYO won't fit on my desk. I tried a Marantz NR1200 as a desktop amp, but that was too chunky. You know, again, like, I hate to open up the can of worms again, but why not use a powered desktop speaker? So I understand, and I'm very similar to Grant here, not in the fact that I don't care about these products, but I do think that the hi-fi home theater industry on the whole has not done, they've been a little slow to catch up to modern day conveniences.
I'll
And
agree.
how people in their 30s and definitely younger have grown up in a very, very different environment
Correct.
than you and I and the majority of people that watch channels like ours or that read, you know, hi-fi magazines. I do find it kind of ironic when we have viewers that come on and be like, well, you just don't care about XYZ. Dude, are you serious? I mean, let's just, like, it blows my mind because I feel like we've given evidence in so many different ways, like how we feel this industry needs to be disrupted in a bad way.
Yeah. So I hope you'll tune in on Sunday for a brand new review. But until then, thanks for watching Unplugged episode. Was it 4?
There's a whole slew of you that when you watch Unplugged, you're like, who is this AI bot? I'm a real person, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
AI doesn't typically stumble over their words like I do. I know that bothers some of you, and it bothers me. I'm doing my best. Tune in for the reviews and the conversations, and we will see you on Sunday.